Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Well, the one viewer that it shows that's here. Um, yeah, big day for no news at all. Basically, um, the big news with Ukraine was, of course, the meeting in Turkey. Hey there, Haji. How's it going? Um, which really turned out to be no news at all. Nothing really came out of it, nothing productive other than a proposed um, prisoner exchange that was already being discussed, just finalized at this meeting. So, I mean, there is that, but besides that, nothing else really came from it. Um, Russia wanted Ukraine to withdraw from Kherson, Zaporizhia, Donetsk, and Luhansk completely for the ceasefire to even start. And when Ukraine said no, they threatened to a fourth oblast and even talked about moving into Sumy and Ukraine giving up Sumy. So, yeah, it basically went the way I expected, some ways, but for the most part, it literally just fell apart. Um, Russia doesn't want peace. If Putin wanted to have peace, he would have had a stronger delegation there. More than just like junior members of his cabinet. Like, literally, it might as well have been like the US sending the Secretary of Education to do a trade negotiation. It was ridiculous. Um, as you can see, most of the northern part of Ukraine is under air alert. Donetsk been under air alert for 8 hours 43 minutes. Parts of Dnipro have been under air alert for 2 hours 7 minutes. Uh, Kharkiv 4 hours 51 minutes. And you see the update coming in with the trajectory of the drones currently in the air. Poltava 4 hours 37 minutes. Sumy 23 minutes. Chernihiv 4 minutes 38 seconds. Kiev Oblast for 5 hours. Cherkasky for 2 hours 48 minutes. Vinnytsia 2 hours 17 minutes. And Klemensky for 1 hour 21 minutes. Honestly, I don't think Zelensky or Ukraine ever expected Russia to come to the table and really negotiate. They're just trying to show Trump that, yeah, it's Putin holding things up, not us. Uh, Haji, not with Vance's borrowed dick. Uh, that's the thing is, Adam Rounds says, well, Russia should give up being Russia. It essentially has. Um, once Putin's gone, there's no real leaders left. He's been so afraid of other people coming and taking over, like Navalny and other stuff, that any strong leader has been removed. So, who they have after Putin? Because I mean, Putin's in his 80s, right? How old is Putin? 72. Turning 73 this year. Okay. You know, Kiev and the rest of Cherkasky coming under air alert now. Mm, no, they're not strong enough. Mm, I don't think Trump could be the Russian president. Um, I think the only one you've mentioned is Medvedev. Um, he might have the public recognition to be able to hold things together, but there's nobody else. Any serious leaders that could have pulled Russia together? He's they've flown out the hospital window, or were poisoned, or died in the gulags, or whatever they're called now. Um, there's no one left to run Russia that could run it as a unified nation. Um, you know, the real Vlad in chat said Medvedev and Gerasimov. They're strong enough to hold a faction. They have enough political will to hold a faction. But unless those two team up, they're going to be each their own faction, trying to keep power to themselves. It's going to be a civil war. Um, yeah, there really isn't. Putin really hasn't groomed the successor. So I mean, he becomes incapacitated. It's a scary thought, but you're going to have a bunch of little warring sects of Russia trying to fight each other for power. The only way I could see Russia maintaining how things are going is to use a Putin double, say it was just the double that died, and running the country as a puppet through the double. Just my thoughts. I have some crazy ones, so. Uh, yeah, so, anyways, the big news was the meeting in Turkey, which, okay, yeah, the prisoner exchange was a big deal of it. But other than that, it was a half a step forward and 40 steps backwards. I mean, Kedyrov's happy being the head of Chechnya. He gets his little money bribes from Moscow and he's happy. So, but that regime will only last as long as money flows in from Russia. Yeah, YouTube was kind of weird today, and well, it didn't help that we've had strong winds all day, so like power lines have been getting blown down. No tornadoes or nothing like that. It's just strong winds and cold winds and telephone poles going flip. So, like right as I was about to start the stream a few minutes ago, um, yeah, I lost power for enough that my computer shut down, had to restart it and re-get the stream going. So, eh, whatever. Um, let's hop into the operational information as of 8 a.m. 5/16/2025. It's funny that they're doing the American version of the date now. Anyways, we start as always with Slava Ukraina. The 1178th day of the large scale armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine has begun. In total, 165 clashes took place over the past day. Kedorov seems to be missing because he asked to step down and put his son in place in charge of Chechnya. He's had a health problem and is dealing with that. I haven't heard anything else other than that, and that was 2 or 3 days ago. Hope that answers your question on that, Adam. And back to the report. Enemy carried out 60 airstrikes on the positions of Ukrainian units and settlements, dropping 97 guided bombs. In addition, Russia carried out 5,400 artillery strikes. 106 of those were from MLRSs. They also used 2,900 kamikaze drones to strike at Ukrainian troops. The airstrikes affected the settlements of Buyanki in Sumy, Novopil, Zeleny Pol in Donetsk, Tramivka, Novodorivka, Zalaznichny, Vysoke, Mali Surbachki, Novoyakovlivka in Zaporizhia, and Kozatsky in Kherson. That's very few towns to be talking about for 97 guided bombs. Over the past day, aviation, missile troops, and artillery of the Defense Forces of Ukraine have struck 7 areas of concentration of personnel, weapons, and military equipment, an ammunition depot, and another important target of the Russian invaders. I'll show you what that other important target was in the video section later. Going into the individual directions and the deep state map, zooming into Kharkiv, where 4 attacks by the invaders took place. The defense forces repelled the enemy assault actions towards Peshkiani. Oh, wait, I dropped into Kupiansk. Here we go. Sorry. In the Kharkiv direction, The enemy carried out offensive actions 6 times near the settlements of Voschansk. Coming over to this section, Hibloki, Visoka Yaruga, Yaruna. Visoka Yaruna. I think I got that right. I'm guessing the other 2 settlements are over here towards Kupiansk, Kodivka, and Dovyanki, Kudkivka, right? Those 2 here. Now heading to the Kupiansk direction. Where their 4 attacks took place in the areas towards Pishkani and Zarazova and Kruglivka. Heading down to Liman direction. The enemy attacked 16 times, trying to advance in the areas of Rikobub, Kolodazny, Novoplantanivka. That is a new town, and I don't think it's listed on this map. Give it a quick glance over. Excuse me. No, it's not going to be on the map. And Novoserhivka is not on the map either, but Serhivka. Oh, Novoserhivka. Okay. Serhivka's here. Novoserhivka's here. Sorry, I was looking here for it, figuring it was closer to it, but it's not. Okay. My apologies on that one. Olivhivka here. Gorkivka. Novimir. And Zeleny Dolna, which is down here. Heading to the south to Service direction. Our defenders repelled 3 assaults by the occupation's forces near Bilogorivka, Yerohorivka, and in the direction of Verkno-Kamiensky. Heading to the west to the Kramatorsk direction. 9 clashes were recorded in the areas of Chasiv Yar and Krudimivka. Heading over to Toretsk. The enemy carried out 8 attacks in the areas of the settlements of Toretsk. Zoom in for Krimsky, Divlivka, I don't know where this other settlement is. Klishkivka. I don't see it offhand either. It might be one of these smaller settlements that is just not on the deep state map. And the other settlement is Bilahora, which is way up here. Okay. This does not make sense to me because in the Kramatorsk direction, Krudimivka is listed in Kramatorsk, which is down here. We're in the Torets direction, and they list Klivshivka, which the only one I've seen is up here. So, I guess maybe areas of responsibilities are shifting. Moving over to the hottest direction, Pokrovsk, where our defenders stopped 75 assaults by the aggressor in the areas of the settlements of Malanivka, here, Novopoltavka, just to the north, Mirolubivka, Elizavetivka, Lisivka, Mirnograd, I'm not sure where Mirnograd is either. Unfortunately, new settlements are becoming the front line. And Mirnograd, way over here. So, I mean, that's a long way away from the front to use that Mirnograd. But that's what they're saying, and that's the one I found. Troitsky. Well, that's Novotroitsky. The other Troitsky I know is up here. No, that's Novotroitsky too. Oh, my brain. Work. Remember where these towns are. Huh. Well, Novotroitsky is here. Here we go. Troitsky. Yeah. I am. Oh, what a day! What a day! I saw Niels on another stream. Going to bed earlier, staying up later. I'm not sure. I skipped way ahead here. Troitsky, Novoserhivka, Udachny, Novo-Alexandrivka, and Drivka down here on the bottom. Where was I? Jumping up here towards Promin, Kotine, Kotanyarka. Okay, they're listing Troitsky again. In the directions of Zori. Zori's way back over here. Zoria. Another Novoserhivka. Popoviar, which is up here. Stara Mikolaivka. And that's the last one. There. So, sorry about that. That Stara Mikolaivka was the last one listed, but it had me jumping all over the map to get all the names of the towns in. And listing Novoserhivka twice and Troitsky twice. So maybe there's another Troitsky that I'm not finding, or another Novoserhivka. I wish I knew better. Um, moving down to Novopavlivka, our defenders stopped 23 enemy attempts to break through to the defensive lines near the settlements of Bagatar, Constantinople, Previlne, and Volhyni Pol. Again, skipping over Guliopol and heading over to Orhiv. The aggressor carried out 3 offensive actions in the areas of Malosrbachki, Novoandrivka, and Stepova. He was unsuccessful, meaning the Russians. Heading over to Dniprovsky, right here. The defense forces stopped 1 enemy attempt to advance. However, they do not give us the location, but you can just generally assume it's in these islands in the river delta. Heading up to Kursk. It is turning more and more gray. Units of the Defense Forces of Ukraine repelled 14 Russian attacks. In addition, the enemy carried out 12 airstrikes using 18 guided bombs and also carried out 236 artillery attacks on the positions of our troops. 8 of those were from multiple launch rocket systems. In the Volyn and Polizia directions, no signs of the formation of enemy offensive groups were detected. Our soldiers continue to inflict significant losses in manpower and equipment on the occupation forces and actively undermine the enemy's offensive potential in the rear. Goes into the losses for yesterday. We'll cover that with the graphic. And of course, we end the report with join the defense forces. Razom Peremožemo. Slava Ukraina. Yeah, he was over on In Time. Let me grab the graphic for today and bring back the air alert map so we can keep an eye on the drones. You see new drones coming into the north of Kharkiv, another set to the south, drones entering Kivnograd, Chernihiv, and leaving Kiev going into Vinnytsia. Total combat losses of the Russian Federation as of 8 a.m. on May 16th. Russia lost an additional 1,100 personnel, 13 tanks, 32 armored personnel vehicles, 36 artillery systems, 1 MLRS, 1 anti-aircraft warfare system, 123 UAVs, and 166 vehicles. LJ making everybody hit the like button. I appreciate it. I do appreciate you guys hitting the like button. It helps expand the channel. Speaking of, go to my account and you see we are at 436 subscribers. 64 subscribers more to go until I can start doing memberships and super chats. Woohoo. That will be nice. I am going to move the air alerts over to the side here so we can keep an eye on them as I pull up Zelensky's posts for, well, let me get to today. Of course, again, the main thing is what's been happening in Turkey.
Thank you so much. Dear friend, thank you so much. Eddie, Prime Minister Ramar, thank you, and thank you, Albania, for hosting us today. Not just in a beautiful country, but in a country that believes in Europe and stands for its future. Dear friends, thank you all for your support, and I appreciate that we share the same understanding. This war Russia against Ukraine must be ended as soon as possible and in a just way. Ukraine needs peace. Peace in Europe depends on whether Ukraine will get it. All of you know that this week we had a real chance to take important steps toward ending this war, if only Putin had not been afraid to come to Turkey. I was in Ankara yesterday, and thanks for participation and hosting us, President Erdogan. And I was ready for a direct meeting with Putin, whether in Ankara or in Istanbul, and not just for a meeting, but to resolve all the important issues to my mind. But he didn't agree to anything, Putin. And you can also see that the Russian delegation that came to Istanbul is of a very low level. None of them are people who actually make decisions in Russia. Still, I send our team to Istanbul, led by Ukraine's Minister of Defense, at least to see if those Russians can actually decide anything. Our number one priority is a full, unconditional and honest ceasefire. This must happen immediately to stop the killing and create a solid basis for diplomacy, first of all. And if the Russian representatives in Istanbul today cannot even agree to that, to ceasefire, to this clearly necessary first step, then it will be 100% clear that Putin continues to undermine diplomacy. If that's not the case, there must be at least some result today, starting with a ceasefire. The Ukrainian delegation has a mandate to make decisions. As we saw yesterday, Russia sent almost the same people it sent in 2022. This shows that Russia has not changed its basic approach. They make many statements, many threats, but solve nothing. They are doing everything they can to turn this Istanbul meeting into a staged, empty process, just like the ones in 2022. It's not us or Western leaders who are disrupting the negotiation that the Russians have been claiming for years. It's Russians who send empty heads to the talks. And that's what destroys the meaning of diplomacy. So if it turns out that the Russian delegation really is just theatrical and can't deliver any results today, the world must respond. There needs to be a strong reaction, including sanctions against Russia's energy sector and banks. Pressure must continue to rise until real progress is made. Ukraine is ready to take all realistic steps to end this war. I call on Putin to give his delegation real authority, and we need a full stop to the killing, long enough to give diplomacy a real chance. Secondly, we must build at least a minimum level of trust in the negotiation process. This can be done by releasing prisoners of war, returning Ukrainian children taken by Russia, and releasing civilian hostages currently held by the Russian side. Third, we need to clearly define which issues must be handled at the leadership level, not below. And we all know who makes the real decisions in Russia. Fourth, together with our leaders and together with the countries who are here with us today, we have begun to create a new security architecture for Ukraine and all of Europe. I thank everyone who is on board. Now it's time to move to very practical steps. And fifth, the United States. President Trump wants to end this war. We need to keep working closely with President and stay as coordinated as possible. Long-term US support is also essential. An American backstop is needed. It's important that we all work together on every level to make that happen. And of course, I will keep you informed throughout the day about what is happening in Istanbul and whether there is any chance the Russian delegation will take real steps to stop the killing and bring the war to an end. Thank you, Eddie, again for the invitation.
Not his normal address to the people, but a great speech by Zelensky. And thankfully it was in English for a change. But you see, he was a busy boy today, doing a lot of meetings, a lot of politicianing. And well, I hope it works out. Adam Rounds in chat says one leader needs to step up in Europe. That would help a lot. Adam, I think, let me rephrase that. I believe Germany is trying to work themselves into that position. There is still that fear in Germany that if they build up military, it will freak people out. But yeah, France, the joke since the beginning of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Let me go to Google Maps here just because it illustrates it a little bit better. The joke has been that France is going to ask Germany to march through Poland and attack Russia. It's very... It sounds funny when you think about World War II. But that might be exactly what happens. Germany has the technical know-how. It has the factories. They've been running at a small percentage of their full capability. Poland cannot do it, even though they have the willpower to do it. They're on the front line. Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, they're already in kind of a subdued war that's not really publicized. I believe it was Estonia 2 days ago captured 2 tourists that were lost in the forest and just happened to have maps on them of sensitive areas to blow up. Yeah, not that story didn't get very publicized, but they issued an alert, I believe it was earlier today, that watch out for lost tourists in the woods, because they might not be tourists. They might be Russian spies and saboteurs. Chechnya has been doing great with the ammo initiative for the artillery shells. Um, I think if anybody is going to step up in Europe, it's going to be Germany. Um, and I think it's going to have to be Germany. You know, France experienced German occupation during World War II, but Germany experienced Russian occupation since World War II until the Berlin Wall came down. Um, Germany knows what it's like to be behind and under the thumb of Moscow. And they have the know-how, the um, farmland to support their population, and the income to support in basically another European war. Um, France, yes, they have everything that Germany has except the experience of what it's like being under the thumb of Moscow. I get that, Sherlock Holmes. It's a very odd thing to try and do your schedule around YouTube. And yeah, I know I'm the last one of the day. I'm hoping I picked a good time slot because, like most Americans, will be getting done with dinner, sitting down, relaxing, and getting ready to go to bed. Um, Trying out some different time slots to see how things go. Um, I'm going to have to try and get back on the 9 o'clock because that seems to be the best for me. It is what it is. Yeah, with how many videos and stuff come out on YouTube every day, it's impossible to keep up with everybody that I follow closely. See, Renegade Chungus, new video live stream from Chungus, Mercado Media, and Rick the Ukrainian, Greg Terry, In Time. It's there's just not enough time in the day to watch everybody. So I get that you have to check your time with real life. And I appreciate you folks coming here, spending your time with me. I really do. With that, let's hop right back onto Telegram and give you guys a preview of some of the videos coming up as I scroll back to the beginning of the day for the drone report from last night. Russia launched 112 drones, 73 were shot down, 36 were lost in location. Odessa, Zhytomyr, Chernihiv, Mykolaiv, and Kyiv regions suffered damage because of the drone attack last night. And the first video I have for you is Ukrainian strike in occupied Crimea. And yes, that was an ammunition warehouse that was hit in Crimea. Capture of an epic airstrike on an enemy UAV control point. BB's gonna wish she saw this. Boom, boom. Oh, that's loud. Let me try that again. Yeah. Yeah, general consensus, I did hear about that, and that's kind of messed up that the biggest army in the world wants cheap drones made by Iran. Um, a bright and devastating blow to a Russian Buk M1 air defense system. Again, these Buks, the S-300, S-400s, they're supposed to be used to shoot down aircraft. Russia is using them to shoot down apartment buildings. Well, this is why I enjoy seeing these things taken out so much. See, I'd rather have the Ukrainian Luti drones. They are much more effective, have a higher payload, and are about the same price as a Shahed. Yeah, that's about the truth of it, though. Um, we have a video of the Lutis right here from yesterday. Um, I think Ukraine would be a much better partner, a much more trusted partner than either Russia or Iran for drones. And these have a longer range, better payload, and the cost is very, very low. Just my 2 cents. But give those back. I can't spare the money right now. This is an interesting one. Video of an FPV drone strike on a K-52 without video inserts generated by artificial intelligence. The other video, it was funnier, but it was kind of Yeah, you could tell it was AI. Note that remote detonation was used rather than ramming into the Ka-52. Here's the video of the Russian helicopter getting taken down. Oof. Wish we could see the boom from that, but yes, that was the helicopter that was on yesterday's, well, kill feed. uh, Russian losses. Yeah, there was one additional helicopter yesterday. That was the helicopter. And another big boom that BB is missing out on: airstrike with 2 JDAMs on a building where the Red regime attack aircraft were accumulating. I believe they mean the drones. Here is the video. It could have been a fiber optic drone too, so that doesn't necessarily mean that the electronic warfare was not working. Pre-run drone group did not observe the progress of the peace talks in Istanbul. They created the prerequisites for strengthening Ukraine's negotiating positions. The very high quality of the image on the affected part creates the impression that fiber optic drones have arrived at the unit. Speaking of donating for Ukraine, as many of you know, I am heading back to Ukraine in September and asking for help packing my bags. Uh, I will pin the link to the wish list in chat if you are able to and want to help me help Ukraine. The 4 things I'm looking for is Cat 7 tourniquets, chest seals, Israeli bandages, and bleed stop. I know it's a ways out before I go, so it gives you guys plenty of time. And, in November, I'll be in Ukraine for November's my birthday. So if you want to get me a birthday present, here you go. This is what I want, so I can take it to Ukraine and help save lives. I leave in September, so like the last order, I'll take this down at the end of June or July. So like July 31st will be the last day I do this. I'll close it out then. All the shipments should get to me in August and get them packed up and go into September. So yeah, it's a long ways out, but yes, I'm going to keep plugging it for now. We do have another Cars for Ukraine campaign coming up in June, and depending on how that goes, it'll probably be a couple months, so that will definitely be taken over in August. But I'm hoping you guys make me have to purchase a checked bag. That would be amazing. Anyways, let's go back to, we just watched the video from pre-run, and now we get to see Russian batting practice. One strike, he's out. Yeah, don't. Swinging your gun at something that has an impact trigger doesn't seem very smart to me. You got two choices: run or put your hands up, give up. And more from Crimea. Now, trying to hide the location of the warehouse, but we saw where that was. Obviously, Ukrainians know where it was because, well, they made it not there anymore. And more from Crimea. Another warehouse was hit. And you see ammunition flying in from the burning warehouse. Play that one more time for you. I just love it that basically Russians are shelling themselves in Crimea because their ammunition warehouse was hit. Soldiers of the 225th very successfully flew into the hangar with a fiber optic drone and destroyed the Russian tank. Then hit a BMD-2 near it Then they finished off that BMD with a drone.
I hear you went down. 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 Did you go down?
Oh yeah, I did.
A Ukrainian anti-tank gunner in the Kursk region made the day better, sending a rocket straight into the turret of a T-72.
Крышки сняты. Все, уши, пострел. Есть влучение нахуй. Замена ракеты. Где попадание?
Usual suspects. We're not doing anything bad here.
Крышки сняты. Все, уши, пострел.
It says to clear. And then you'll see the sparks. That's from the launch. You see the missile going out
Есть влучение нахуй.
and
Замена ракеты. Где
the hit.
попадание?
One less T-72 out there. Destruction of a rare Russian radio direction finding complex in Zaporizhia region. These things are used as counter batteries. Yes, meteorological complex. This is a weather station used to track where Russia's using them to track where artillery shots are being fired from. Here's the video.
Російський автоматизований мобільний радіотехнічний комплекс метеорологічного призначення, створений в Окт-Пеленг, розроблений для зондування вологості, параметрів вітру та температури на користь частин зенітної та польової артилерії, систем РСЗВ, підрозділів РХБЗ та ВДВ.
Just so I don't have to spell it, I'm copying it from chat. Oh, yes. And just to show you how invested Russia was into the peace talks in Turkey, well, the negotiations were going on. Signed on May 15th, the day the talks in Istanbul started. Putin signed a decree extending the defense plan in Ukraine until 2027. So extending the war by 2 more years for Russia anyways. The day the negotiations for peace are supposed to start. 71st Separate Brigade continues to destroy the enemy. Here is their short video. Let me replay this from the beginning. Turtle tank gets bopped in the engine. Engine conks out. You see the rats running from the sinking ship. Second drone comes in. And that's the end of that turtle tank. Open face club sand wedge. You see a new batch of drones coming in on the air alert map, coming into Kharkiv and heading towards Poltava. The Russians started talking about the Sumy region during the negotiations. They demanded the creation of a security zone and threatened to annex the region. Then they did the same thing with Kharkiv. Yeah, that's peace negotiations right there. Give us your land, and we'll have peace. A piece of your land. An armored vehicle and a dozen occupiers set off to attack in the direction where the operators of the Phoenix unit were working. It was a one-way ticket for the Russians. Why do you want to play at 11 o'clock at night? No. Say hi, everybody. Update from Crimea. Sounds like popcorn to me. Oh. Are you a Sonia? Oh, quick little popcorn cooker there. In the Donetsk region, soldiers of the 71st Brigade repel motorcycle assaults. They destroy 8 motorcycles, 10 occupiers, a car, and an ATV. Here is the video from 71st. Yeah, Andrew, I got to see it before everybody else, but I couldn't say anything.
On my tracks, but I want to, so fuck you. This is my shit, and that's that. Anyway, what's the point in any of this if it isn't fun? I don't care about the radio, and I don't get number ones. Let's be real, please. Just for once, tell the truth. Lately, nobody fucks with shit like I do. Can I get another famous drummer between somebody fucking lame? Recycling material, look at all that shit's the same. Cause they don't got what I got, and I don't like to gloat. But I guess it's like they say, you either got it or you don't. Own to the haters and labels, I'm saying I can't be myself. Well, fuck them. I'ma do it my way, yeah, yeah. I'ma do it my way, do it my way, do it my way, yeah, yeah. I'ma do it my way, do it my way,
I'm gonna laugh my ass off when I get copyright hitted for that playing that song. um yeah, did you like my little cameo in it? Or I should say my fella's cameo in it? Another video from Crimea with the warehouse on fire.
Бля, это пиздец, а представь, сейчас патроны там во все стороны летят. Охуеешь.
You hear all that ammunition going up?
Да ну нахуй. Все, пизда, бля, пацанчик. Атака на бригаду.
And for the last video of the night, destruction of a Russian 2S7 peon near Le Mans by Signum Battalion. Sneak attack on my nose here for me. So let's go full cam. And you see yourself there, Sonia? See? See yourself? Go high. Go high. You're a cutie. But you're a pain in the butt, you know this? Here's how you get that. Yeah, that's Sonia. She's my little monster. Sonia means sleepy in Ukrainian. When we first got her, I mean, she was really small. Fit in the palm of my hand. And she'd be awake for 30 minutes and then sleep the rest of the day. And now it's about the same. She's awake for 30 minutes, wants to play like no tomorrow. And then we'll sleep the rest of the day. And then apparently 11 o'clock, wake up again and wants to play. Yeah, she's cute. Definitely a cute dog. Too cute for her own good. 3 groups of drones currently active in Ukraine on the border with Chernihiv heading towards Kyiv city, on the border of Kharkiv and Poltava heading towards Poltava, and again on the border of Kharkiv and Poltava heading towards Dnipro. Not Sherlock Holmes. I'll show you what I get. Uh, uh, Okay, let's do this a different way. Sort by lowest price. So $10 for a refurbished Dell. Refurbished Toshiba. Where's the dang Logitech? Genuine HP. Yeah, let's break this down and just do the Logitech. You're kidding me. The lowest price Logitech is $43 now. Screw you. Logitech. Low to high. There we go. That's my keyboard right here, the K120. 10 bucks from. And what I'll do is I'll buy 3 or 4 of these at a time. Mainly because I wear them the heck out. So why should I spend $40 on a keyboard that will last me 6 months? And yeah, I need to replace this one because like the S key, you can't see the S anymore. But what I did was I went and had, last time I bought these, I bought 4 of them and I kept one, which is this one here. And I sent 3 of them to a laser engraver and to put the Ukrainian alphabet on the keyboard. And when I replace this keyboard, the one with the Ukrainian letters is coming on it, so I'll have both English and Ukrainian on my keyboard. Yeah, I'm the same way, not Sherlock. A keyboard's a keyboard. That's why, it's just a basic keyboard. Nothing fancy, nothing smancy. Usually the lettering wears off before anything on it breaks. Why pay anything more? $10 for a keyboard and you're set. Anton, what I do for right now is I'll pull up the acrylic keyboard on my phone, change my computer to Ukrainian, and I'll look on my phone for the right letter that corresponds to the right part of the keyboard for the letter I need. Yeah, I understand I'm a cheap bastard, but I have to be a cheap bastard when I only receive $1,400 a month to pay bills and everything else on. Yeah, the laser engraving lasts so much longer than just the stickers. I put the stickers on this one and sent the other ones to laser engraving. The stickers are all gone. The English letters are half gone. So, I was having a chat on In Times broadcast day, their live stream, and I kind of wanted to talk about it on stream. Yeah. Because there's a misconception out there. I'm going to put this back over on this side. And there's a bunch of videos and YouTubers out there telling you should be debt free, pay off your debts, pay off your debts. And then you have outliers like this, why you shouldn't tell anybody you're debt free. Or, okay, that's not what the outlier I thought it was. I misread that. I am not debt free. I use debt as a tool. I don't let my debt sit long, but it's just easier to tell people to be debt free than to teach them how to use debt as a tool to gain, I'm not going to say wealth, but get extra. I have several accounts with Capital One. I have a savings account that they pay me about 4% interest on. It fluctuates over time, but it averages out to about 4%. I have a credit card with a $5,000 credit limit on it that they pay me 1.5% cash back on. So yeah, I go to Amazon, I make, purchases, I buy gas, I pay my utility bills, everything through that credit card to get that 1.5% cash back option on. And that works with my telephone, my electric, my internet, everything but the water bill. I can't put my water bill on the credit card for some reason. But when I do that, I take the amount of money that I would have spent on that bill and I transfer it to that savings account. So I'm going to suck at this, but oh well. So let's just undo that. So my money comes in, goes into my checking. My bills are paid through my credit card. As my bills go to the credit card, my money in my checking goes to my savings. So as my credit card bill rotates, the bill only comes due once a month, that money sits in my savings account for up to a month and a half, where I'm earning 4%. My credit card company pays me 1.5%. So yeah, just paying my bills, getting gas, getting groceries, I earn 5.5% extra just by paying my bills. For me, that works out to an extra $25 to $30 a month. It doesn't sound like much. It isn't much. But when you're talking about only having an income of $1,400 a month, that 5.5%, that $30, that's a huge thing for me. You know, I could do that. Stephen Walsh, I could. They do have a referral program. I'm not going to refer you to Capital One because I don't really like them, but they have the highest percentage interest rate that I could get, and worked with me when my credit score was really, really bad. Give you an idea. 7 years ago when I got hit by, 8 years ago now, I got hit by the drunk driver, couldn't work, lost my job, didn't have any income. My credit score. Oh, my credit score was a nice. That was my credit score 8 years ago. This is my credit score now. I didn't get that credit score by paying everything off right away. This 5.5%, it took me 5 years to save up the money to go to Ukraine. I'm not going to do it, Stephen. It's not. For one, I don't like Capital One as a bank because, well, their cards don't work in Ukraine. Rather than figuring out the difference between Russia and Ukraine, they just sanctioned and cut off Ukraine and Russia and Belarus. I don't want to deal with, I wouldn't want to refer a company that does that. The only reason I'm with them is because they gave me a credit card with that credit score. And that allowed me to build up a couple $1,000s in savings and push my credit score to that. Okay, I drew that. So they're trying to wipe that off on my screen. Yeah, that's the thing is if my credit cards worked in Ukraine, I could buy that house I want in Chernihiv or Cherkasky on the credit card. No big deal. But yeah, that 5.5% gave me an extra $30 every month. And rather than spending that $30, I kept that $30 every month in the savings account. And it earned another 4% or 4.5% or 3.98 or whatever it averaged out to be. And this is the money I save to go to Ukraine. And this is the money I'm using to go to Ukraine, is this 4% and this 1.5%. I don't pay any taxes right now, Andrew, so no. South Dakota does not tax income. I'm on disability, so the government does not tax that. So it is what it is. I've actually paid more in taxes in Ukraine in the last year than I have in the last 7 years in the US. So if you ever see someone tell you go debt free, just remember they're basically telling you they're too lazy to try and teach you how to use debt. One of the key things is average increase in S&P 500. Average yearly, there we go. S&P 500's average yearly increase is around 10%. So if you invest in an S&P 500 fund, your money would earn about 10% every year. If you can get anything on, if you can buy something at a lower interest rate than that 10%, you're better off borrowing that money and putting, okay, like if you're going to buy a car, the car's $5,000. You have the $5,000 to buy the car outright. Obviously, used car. Put that money in, say like the S&P 500. If they're going to give you a loan for 6.5%, well, you're going to make more money off putting that money in the S&P 500 and paying the 6% on your car loan than you would if you just paid off the car. Yeah, that's kind of scary. Be honest with you, I'd love to move to Ukraine and get my citizenship eventually in Ukraine. If I can get things going enough there that I don't need to be on disability anymore. But medical costs are so cheap in Ukraine. I mean, it's approximately 1/5 the price I pay here with insurance. Like I just had to do $230 for a 15-minute visit with my doctor to renew my medications, prescriptions. That's all it was, to go in to renew my prescriptions. My prescriptions in Ukraine are not prescriptions. You can get them over the counter. And they are exactly the same, almost exactly the same price as buying them here in the US with insurance. So yeah. And when adjusted for inflation, the real return is closer to 6 to 7%. It is what it is. So yeah, if you can get your interest rates under 6 or 7%, put the money in the stock market rather than, or something else, rather than buying stuff outright and going debt free. Because that, having that debt on purchasing a car, yeah, your money's going to make you more money if you get the lower interest rates. And getting that higher credit score, yeah. Here, let me show you. So, oh, what is it? Tablet. Let's go. .ua. Uh, where's the app? Okay, yeah, my eyes are getting bad. There we go. So the main one I'm going to have to take for the rest of my life, lithothyroxine. Oh, Levo. Levothyroxine, 100 milligrams. Let's see if I can find the 150s. Here we go. 147 hryvnia for a 1 month supply. That's about $3.20. $3.50 maybe. And it's over the counter. Don't have to go into the doctor, get it, and I'm paying, oh, what's the price on this? Oh, I ripped the thing off of it. Never mind. I believe it's $15, so $5 a month for my levothyroxine tablets. So, yeah. So it's actually cheaper for me to get my medications without a prescription or without a prescription drug coverage in Ukraine than it is to get my prescriptions here in the US with drug coverage. I also wouldn't have to go see a doctor and pay $230 for a 15-minute visit with my doctors for them to say, oh yeah, here you go, here's your prescriptions renewed for 6 months. So I pay less for the drugs. Even if I had to go get a prescription, which looks like I would have to. The doctor visit in Ukraine's about $10 without insurance. With insurance, that doctor visit would be free, and the insurance would only cost me about $160 to $200 per year. If you want to look up your medications in Ukraine, here's a link to the site. So yeah, I'd easily save $500 a year just in my medications and doctor visits living in Ukraine. It's a third of a month of income just in that alone. When you go in, look at like, yeah, I know Dimria. No, I want rent an apartment. Fine, just search and I'll change it there. Rent an apartment in Kyiv, in the area I want to be in. There you go. This is about $239 a month. Utilities would run me about $50 in the winter, $25 in the summer. So there's $300 a month in rent. Yeah, I'll be right back. I gotta pee. How do you spell relief? Okay, not I believe Ukraine's approved medical in use of the 7-leaf plant. Cost of $30 per day is ridiculous. It CBD oil in Ukraine I think it was like 25 hryvnia per ounce for the one I saw. Which is like 50 cents. So if you're going through a bottle of CBD oil a day, it's going to cost you 50 cents a day. Yeah, it's just a smart thing to do. But I mean, it's not a bad apartment. I mean, it's not a great, ritzy apartment either, but there you go. Housing with all the utilities, high-speed internet, and everything under $300 a month. I have 4 prescriptions that I'm paying $5 for 3 of them and $10 for the other. So I'm paying $25 a month in prescriptions. That drops down to about $10 a month in Ukraine. And I don't have to go to the doctor to get a renewal. And even if I do, it's only like $10 instead of $230. Yeah, it's a fairly standard apartment in Ukraine. Entirely doable. I could live in this. The heck is that? Bohemia Gress? Oh, that living room. Where's the shot from the balcony? Air conditioner. The leather front doors. Yeah, I'm used to that. Look at that balcony. It's not an enclosed balcony, but oh my, that view. I wish they'd give us a better view of it.
Це зал. Світло. Які кондиціонери речі заберуть. Шафа.
Yeah, that's one thing that was really hard for me to get used to in Ukraine is having the light switches on the outside of the room.
Тут телек. Телек. Ремонт нормальний такий. Вдома на кухні. Тут кімната.
Come on, show us the balcony. Show us the balcony.
Ручна квартира.
Nope, we're not going to get to see the balcony. But there you go. That's what a $300 or $239 apartment in Ukraine looks like. And that is right here next to the park. Come on, tell me the prices on these ones. Here you go. 10,000 hryvnia, first floor out of 5. Very close to where I was staying. Nice clean place. Even has a baby Yoda. And that's $240 a month. Still under $300. Okay, 348. $350. This is what $350 in Ukraine looks like. Well, it looks like they expanded the kitchen and kind of combined the toilet and bathtub rooms together. So it's a little bit bigger in here. Like this used to be where the wall was between the two. That window actually goes out into the kitchen. But yeah, this would be considered a renovated apartment in Ukraine. That's why the higher price. But yeah, you can definitely save some money. Let's cap the price at $400 a month, which means you'd be paying about $450. You figure add $50 for utilities and you'll be pretty much set. You wanted to go closer to downtown. Here we go, not too far from the Green Line. 2-room, $384 a month. Nice kitchen, little messy. Looks like they're trying to stage it to make it look better. That's a pretty cool entryway. You even get a bidet. The toilet, bidet, sink, and shower. This place doesn't look bad. I like it. There's the view from your balcony. Actually, I know right where this is at. I've walked across that crosswalk. Oh, nice entryway too, the stairwell. Pretty nice place. And that's $384. So in the winter you'd end up paying about $425. That bathroom screams Nafo sex tunnel. Oh, you're gonna make me go find that picture. Um, ah, shit, I might as well just bring this on screen. Um, yeah, the underground dance party. Here, that was just in one of the metro entrances. Oh, y'all should recognize this one. Oh, dang it, where is that picture? Gonna drive me nuts until I find it. Ah, here we go. Is that what you're looking for there, Chungus? Sex tunnel? Um, that's kind of like downtown. Well, here, let me go to. Central Yard. Oh, there you go. That's the closest I could find to the sex tunnels. Of course, that just led into here. Not there, but see, are there any better ones in here? So just like this little shopping center that had a sex shop, and there's the tunnel up there. It was just this like little alleyway they turned into a little strip mall. But there's the barbershop. A night gym, yeah. Well, the two ladies that approached me from not Telegram, oh god, what was that stupid dating app? I still got it. No, I think I deleted it off the phone. Oh, Tinder. There was two ladies on Tinder that propositioned me for 4,000 hryvnia. Yeah, it does happen, but I could think of a lot better things to spend 4,000 hryvnia on. Actually, I did find better things to spend 4,000 hryvnia on because Epicenter had a special going for, I believe Epicenter is up here. There's an Epicenter like up over this way. Oh no, it's over here. There we go. Right there. This Epicenter had gotten 4 EcoFlow River 2s, but they had US plugs instead of EU plugs. So they had a special on them for 4,000. I think it was 4,500 hryvnia each. They'd already gotten their money back. They were just pure profit at that point for Epicenter because they were sent the wrong ones. So I bought them and donated them to ZCU. You know, many of you may know I have dentures for my front teeth because of the car accident. These cost me $930 and took me 5 months to get them here in the US. In Kyiv, there's a dentist shop right here. They could do it for $200 and I'd have it within 2 weeks. Yeah, like I said, I could think of better things to spend $100 on. Left Tina and right Tina are enough to handle for me. At least it's good to see the air alerts starting to clear. But yeah, I hate to say this, it's not that expensive for someone outside of Ukraine to afford to live in Kyiv, no matter what income level they're at. Problem is, like, okay, so 396 is 16,500 hryvnia. Average income in let's just go Ukraine in general. The average monthly salary in Ukraine is 24,000 hryvnia. So let's go copy that. Go so about $580. $184 left after rent. 50 of that goes to the apartment. I mean utilities. So let's say $140 for groceries, travel, clothing, entertainment. It gets kind of expensive for Ukrainians in Kyiv. It gets kind of expensive in New York for Americans to live. So just Vlad correct on real estate. Huh? Um yeah, Sherlock Holmes, you're exactly right. Free is not always best. But Sherlock Holmes is saying in the UK, waited months for an MRI. In Ukraine, it's walk in, pay, done. Free is not always the best option. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, Holmes. Um, but yeah, if you become a Ukrainian citizen and get a job in Ukraine, healthcare is free. Um, it's just if you're not from Ukraine, you have to buy into their health insurance program, and the health insurance program you buy into is actually better. Um, it depends on how the war stops. Um, a lot of Ukrainians are renting right now in cities like Kyiv. Let me zoom out more. Because a lot of the Ukrainians from southern Kherson, Melitopol, Mariupol, in Donetsk and Luhansk areas, they've all moved and are renting out this way, hoping to go back to their homes. Go to Google Maps here because it's easier. Um, I have my friend, his mom has an apartment in Slovansk. She is living in his apartment while he's staying with his significant other in Kyiv. But their apartment still is sitting in Slovansk. They hope to move back when the war's over. So if it ends up not being occupied and Russia goes away, yeah, there's a lot of towns like Severodonetsk, Luhansk, Mariupol, Donetsk, even Kherson is pretty much a ghost town. Everybody's moved away from there. Odessa, a lot of people have moved away from there, going to safer areas. So right now, the more displaced people, the higher the prices are getting everywhere else. If Russia goes away, a lot of those people are going to leave Kyiv, leave Sumy, leave Poltava, and go back home. And you'll see prices drop from that route. And like this is going to be the big area if Russia leaves. A lot of people are going to want to move down here, help with the rebuilding, help with families and stuff like this in the previously occupied areas. If Russia doesn't go away and, let's say Russia gets what they want, Kherson Oblast, Zaporizhia Oblast, Donetsk, and Luhansk. That's a lot of people, especially from Zaporizhia, Kherson, that are going to be wanting to not go back and are going to settle down, and prices are going to go up. But yeah, if Russia is made to leave and return to the 91 borders, it's going to be a lot of empty houses in Kyiv, in Lviv. It just is what it is. If you can find them, I'm sure you can try. Just remember, Ukrainian pets are like Ukrainians. They don't take no shit. You even see it now. Like the apartments in Kiev have slowly creeped up in price. What I was finding, 30s, 40s before for the lows, now it's 50s, 60s for the lows. Once in a while, you'll find like something like this with 37. But that's why it's 37. Needs renovations. Needs fixing up. Before, you'd see this in like the low 20s, high teens maybe. But now it's going for 37. The rest of the apartment looks good, but the entryway and the bathroom, that definitely needs work. Even kitchen, looks like there was a water leak or something, and yeah, it definitely needs some fixing up. But again, that's probably, you'd probably get this for 22 last year, so almost doubled in price in the last year. So yeah, prices are already going up. This place, I really do like this place. But last year, this probably would have been 45 to 47. In fact, there was one in this building almost exactly like that. This building here for 47 last year. So prices are already going up in Kyiv. There are scenarios I see happening that would return to the 91 borders. Basically, that would involve flooding aid into Ukraine and making Russia go bankrupt. And when they're sitting there fighting uprisings inside Russia, yeah, Ukraine could get back to the 91 borders. It is possible. It could be also that Ukraine gives up Crimea for the return of like most of Kherson and like a little strip of land going to Russia, like a little railroad from Rostov on Don to Mariupol and down to Crimea, so they don't have to rely on the Kerch Bridge. But I mean, let's look at this full screen. This is the occupied area. It's going to take a lot to push Russia out of that. And yeah, it'd take like full support from the US, full support from the EU to be able to push Russia out of here unless they go bankrupt. I don't see, Ukraine's not going to give up major capital cities like Kherson or Zaporizhia. They're not going to give up entire halves of Donetsk. What I think is likely is Ukraine may end up having to give up Luhansk and Crimea. And the rest of it's in the air. That's if it goes to the negotiating table to end it. Ukraine can keep fighting like they are, and I think it's going to be 2027 that Russia will go bankrupt. And Ukraine could, at that point, push the Russian army out and get back to the 91 borders. If Ukraine's forced to settle, I think Crimea and Luhansk are definitely gone. And then maybe what Russia controls in Zaporizhia and like a sliver of Kherson, and trade like half of Kherson for the other half of Donetsk. I don't know. There's a lot of different scenarios. Obviously, Zelensky said giving up territory is a red line. And I think they're going to push for bankrupting Russia. They're already doing it. You already see the signs of the Russian economy starting to collapse. Russia is pulling every trick in the book to keep the economy going. And if it wasn't for this war, Russia would already have collapsed. Unfortunately, Russia is in a no-win scenario. If they stop the war, their economy collapses at this point because it's all based on supplying the war. And, of course, they're going to have to pay reparations to Ukraine if they lose. So Russia's going to be screwed for the next 20, 30 years easily. Unless they're able to do a negotiation. And unfortunately, negotiation isn't the best outcome for Ukraine. I think the best choice for Ukraine is sticking it out for 2 more years, and Russia will go bankrupt and they'll get their borders back. That's, in my mind, that's the best case scenario for Ukraine as a nation. The individuals in Ukraine, that's 2 more years, well, almost 3 more years of casualties and losses and begging, well, not begging, but asking for aid and other stuff. I mean, if the board, not giving up territory is a red line, a strong red line, that's where it's going to end up. Is somewhere around spring to early summer of 2027, Russia will have to pull out. But, it's been said 1,000 times. If Ukraine stops fighting, Ukraine stops existing. If Russia stops fighting, the war stops. And then it's just a matter of making sure Russia doesn't do it again in 5, 10, 15 years. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it anymore, Sherlock Holmes, because basically I'm on a list. Because of my streams, because of going to Ukraine, because of the fundraising I've done, even though it's minor, I'm red flagged. I cannot go into Russia, Kazakhstan, probably China, several countries in Africa I wouldn't be able to go to, and several countries in South America I would not be able to go to now. So, yeah, I'd be able to go to like Thailand or Philippines. I wouldn't go to Myanmar, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't go Middle East as an American. So I got Ukraine. Couldn't go to Argentina or Colombia. So as retirement spots, I got Ukraine, Philippines, or Thailand to choose from. I'd prefer Ukraine. Yeah, I last year when I was in Ukraine, I found out how serious that was when nobody knew where I was staying. The apartment wasn't rented in my name, it was rented through my friend. I didn't pay the bills. The owner of the apartment paid the bills. I just paid the owner of the apartment. And SBU knocked on my door, said, be careful. Okay. Yeah, I know where I sit on that. Well, I knew where I sat on that list. I was way, way down at the bottom, like low end. But I remember a couple names from the list that, yeah, there's certain people that if they ever go to Russia, they might not make it out. And all because talking to you guys on YouTube. Well, I know exactly what video it was, and apparently it's been taken off of YouTube without my knowledge. But it was titled Putin's Lullaby. And I said, Vladimir Putin, do fuck off. And that video's gone for some reason. I don't know why. No notice, no nothing, just it's gone. But 2 days after posting that, that's when I had the knock on my door in Kyiv. More drones coming in towards Kharkiv. Drones passing Bilasirka, heading towards Venetia. Let's give a quick look. Oh, Madiar's got a video. Let's watch a Madiar video.
Подумав Іван, горе тому, що на печі. Сюди пече, туди гаряче. Добре тому, що в дорозі. Опача. Лежить тепер у коматозі. Well done. Ну не долбойоб, Іван. 37-ма частина просвітницького проєкту «13 йоблоків у етері», другий сезон. Почнім з раколовки, що усім полюбилася. Хробак типу не дурак, відразу на місток не пхається. У посадочці поряд накопичується. Хуй до носу прикинувши, рішучості набирається. Тим часом очима птахів мадяра виявляється, ну і жалом відразу обробляється. От така ця концепція приміняється. Кущик тощий обрав і вже зрозумів, очей, що стискається. Тра-та-та, увімкнути рацуха хробака не припускається. Останнє фото скала. Йоблик получається. Тим часом два інших таки на місточку з'являються, двіжуха починається. Жало, кероване пілотами Кліматим, окремого запрошення не чекає. Очі бригадні ті цілі вже не відпустять з фокусу уваги. Буде джага! Пілот-козак дрона веде низенько, хробак чує, але не бачить. Незабутня зустріч завдяки цьому забарвлюється фарбами жаху. Звісно, побачимо зовні ту зустріч на Елбі на мінімалках. О, там акробатичні піруети в хід пішли. Один так виглядає вже йок, а по другого подбає Некс жало. А поки подивимося ближче, очима пілотів FPV Кліматим. Акробат таки умостився, у йоблика перетворився. Якийсь жовтий, наколотих апельсинок нажерся, чи що? Але ж нас цікавить вже другий. Весільні бригадні мавіки наші пильні очі доповіли, що той містка не облишав. Значить, десь моститься у роколовці. Так і є. Хамелеонить у колір бетону. Оп, гоп. Десь ми це вже бачили. Пам'ятаєте? Фуй, свиня багнюку й на мостовий знайде. Томаш! Епічна картина, але треба переконатися, що то не пантоміма, що акт тої п'єси справді завершені. Сідай, брате, на перекур. Ми не хотім стріляти, ми наблюдаємо.
Okay, let's get past that part.
Бити, щоб хробак не зачаївся. Там я не боре, зарував бися. Недобрий день, хробачо. Зовні той йобчик виглядав звичайно. Маленько там дупа підгорає на баники. Ну та й наступна FPV-ха розвідкою боєм у тому переконується. Йоблик компліт і повертається до раколовки. На мостики поки тихо, тому на підкрадульках глянемо куди. Вірно, у посадки поруч. Трошки пришвидшимо. Що тут у нас? Є пацієнт на клізму. Он під осиною вмостився у позі срущого мальчика. Відпрацюрен. Блядь, там два. Добре? Та ти що? Чули про народженого у сорочці? Єбуть ті хмари не здетонував. Але оп-оп-оп-оп. Контакт. Негайно до розвідка боєм. Тут був детонюрен, попереднього дрону, уважно, червоне коло на куттяпку. Симулює хробак. Таки припаркував пасажира вибух. Нехай і другого, але він ще не закінчений. Останнє селфі, не жмурся на фото. Піздюль! До розвідка боєм наступна. Нема глави ніжта, фуй-фуй. Я думаю, той другий, що у сорочці типу п'ятами накивав, коли побори заїкання.
Okay, let's not show that. There we go.
То так довго не буде. Що там, де там?
Back at the bridge.
Опача. Є хробак. Єбуть ті
Another-
хмари. 3 хвилини,
Another
як
person
міст
trying to cross the
патрулювали.
river.
А він же тут. Арт-об'єкт імітація опори відбійника. Ну та й вйо. Крупним планчиком. Піздюліна. Розвідка. Ото погнув перила червоненьким на сіренькому. А над ним well done з минулих йобликів. Пам'ятаєте? Звідки їх тільки береться на раколовці? Слід моніторити шляхи підходу. Отак прямують, як
You're
цей,
gonna
на
make me a new
пахуя
channel,
з
Andrew, when I get banned
Оп-оп-оп.
from streaming on YouTube
Почув
because I'm
дрона,
showing
ймовірно,
gore?
занирнув у кущі. Завітаємо без запрошення. Що там? Он сидить у зеленці, окуня врубив. F7 пробирається. А там другий. Йопті, там ще й третій. Пана сука. Сорочок на усіх не вистачило. Боєприпас спрацював. Дорозвідка виявила одного полум'яно виконуючого контракт СВО. Але впевнений, що уламки поконструював кожний учасник того шабашу. Пілот FPV до розвідкою незадоволений, скеровує наступний F-10 на розвідку боєм. Бачимо, одного вже роздягли, бузіранти хренові, а там другий. Треба перевірити, чи не бліфує. Ап, зарухався. Буде бобо. Третій захід. Озираємо. От тепер порядок. Є блик з йобликом. От ті посадочки, слід метр за метром патрулюрен. Звідси вони на моста у Роколовку пруть. А ось і підтвердження. Наступний мандрівник. Ну, хоч не за кущем, правильно. Кидай ружо. І магазин кидай, і каску кидай.
Well, he got half of it right.
Ні,
He
ну,
threw
прутиком
down
то
his
рівень
gun.
ясла.
He should have put up his
Спробу
hands.
зараховано та занесено до альбому засобів анти-FPV. Тим часом наступний увімкнув режим марафону на перегонки з F-10. Єбанько.
You can run,
Повітряний
you can hide.
підрив. Ще один он за деревом. Зашпотався у соплях. Ну та й на. А цей вирішив за всьому у стрілялки погратися. Але щось не задалося. Запхай собі того глушника метрового очечо, хробачелло. Тут треба тихенько, щоб не відволікти та не налякати хробака. Бачите, він щось цинкує у засаді. Бенз, шолом за ринду спрацював. А той взагалі
Headshot.
слід мовчки. Той хробак розчехлився і
I have a
в пляшку
sudden urge
заліг.
to play Unreal Tournament.
Ну, хоч відпочившим здохне. Та й такі двіжухи. Крайній епізод 37-ї частини просвітницького проєкту 13 йобликів. Частина друга. Як не в дупу, то в спину. Зовні подивимося. Хробак не втримався. Джага! І дістав маленько по куполу.
I think he's out,
Комплект
coach.
частина. До нових зустрічей. Не обіцяю, що швидко встигну, справ багато. Ну, але виходитиму в ефір по мірі можливості тихої та спокійної, всім притомним. Очі та жало, хробачий жах.
Well, that was AAR today. Check in on my favorite channel.
Так, Мишаня! Мишаня! Сейчас буду ебашить.
And you wonder why there's potholes in Ukrainian roads? You're about to see why.
Пішов кабанчик корком на спини. Оце моща, блядь, Цезарь делає ботики.
It's funny you mentioned Sweet Baby Ray's. That's my mom's favorite barbecue sauce. Uh, Sherlock Holmes says he was talking to his brother about his holiday in Kirlovka and how locals were shocked I was not in Odessa. I wanted a normal Ukraine holiday, not a tourist visit. Understandable. I like doing the non-touristy stuff too. Yeah, that's where all conversations about Ukraine end up, is talking about Russian speaking in the East and Holodomor. It's pretty much where they all end up nowadays. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I do this stream, is to try and educate and give you guys ammunition to educate others. And well, try and convince you that moving to Ukraine would be much more economical. I mean, $300,000 home in the U.S. is a pretty small house. This is what 300,000 in Kyiv will get you. Gray tones must be the new popular thing, because like all the expensive houses I've looked at recently that are like new renos or new construction are gray tones for the walls and floors. Yeah, I'm one of the oddities. I knew about Ukraine before the invasion, but I have to admit I know more about medieval and Renaissance Ukraine than I did about modern Ukraine. So there's the entrance way, closet, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, the kitchen, and the living room. Heck, this could be even a 4th bedroom if you wanted to give someone a small bedroom. Pretty nice place. 11th floor out of 36. 4-room apartment. 3 isolated bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, glazed balcony, elevator, concierge, utility room, fire alarm, security in the building, Italian wardrobe in the corridor, heated tiles, heated floors, video intercom for security, premium Italian brand Scavolini kitchen, premium German AEG appliances, oven, built-in microwave, coffee maker, dish warmers, induction, stovetop, refrigerator, freezer, wine cabinet, heated floor tiles and windowsills, air conditioning, Decorative plaster, multicolored lighting, pocket doors, large sofa, 70-inch LG TV, designer Italian table, seats 8 people. This all comes with the apartment. Master bedroom, large wardrobe, decorative Mars element with lighting above the bed, 180 centimeter by 200 centimeter bed, so king size. Blackout curtains for comfortable sleep, heated floor again, air conditioning, colored LED lights to set the mood for night adventures. Second bedroom is a queen size bed. Blackout curtains, heated floor, air conditioning, designer Italian desk. And the third bedroom, again with a queen size bed. Blackout curtains, heated floor, air conditioning. This is freaking a mansion, not, you know. This isn't an apartment, this is a mansion. All for the low price of $300,000. I don't think you could touch an apartment in New York City for that price, much less something that looks that good. And there's so many different like areas of Kyiv. You can kind of like pick and choose. If you wanted a more European style, more European look, go down to Podil. And you get like modern European-esque buildings. You want like old school, Sophia. You go into this area here, and you get more Victorian era. If you really want to get artsy, this little neighborhood is amazing. Yeah, I think Zelensky lives in this little neighborhood. I'm not sure, but I can imagine that with the housing pricing in here. You know, nice, neat little park. But I mean, that this little neighborhood is like one entrance into it and one entrance out. Old church at the front, and at the back, another old church. St. Andrew's Church is right here. You know, go into this area. They call this the Garden District because the botanical gardens are right around here. You just get a whole different feel for each little neighborhood because you know, or you wanted to go like super modern. Um, that'd be like right here. Of course, you can't see anything. Even over by me, there's this really nice set of buildings. See if I can get a good view of them. Not really. Let's try one of these. So that's the park, and it should be, yeah, nice little high-rise building. Right through that door is the massage therapy place I went to. I'm great at map crap. Um, yeah, Kaz, I've thought about that. um, it's definitely something I would consider doing. Kaz saying I should go into real estate business for foreign buyers. I would love to be able to do that. I need to learn a lot more Ukrainian to deal with the Ukrainian side of things. But yeah, let's see if I can even see. Oh, no. Let's go back out. Back out. Let me out of here. There we go. Right down here is the past this elevated entrance. There's another entrance to Aurora Spa, and that's where I was going to get massages. And yeah, all the apartments are super, super nice in this place. It'd be, I don't know. I'd rather be like right in here. That's me. Um, yeah, that would have been scary, Sherlock. Oh, I fell in love with medieval Ukraine when um I think it was Yaroslav the Wise sent expeditions to Rome and to Constantinople to check out which Christian religion he should follow, Orthodox or Roman Catholic. And the person they talked to in Constantinople asked the delegates, if they were Vikings. And their reply was, I don't think so. And of course, the Roos family that was from this area, actually, zoom in, was from this area right here in Norway or Sweden. And they were asked to come and rule over these lands because nobody else wanted to, because it was between, well, the Middle Eastern raiders, the Vikings, and everybody kept attacking not this area, but through this area to get to Germany. The Vikings would attack, United Kingdom and other France, so on and so forth. And they'd bring their wares down through here, and raiders would raid those. It was just a big story, and I don't know, I just fell in love with that kind of attitude. Like, no, we're not Vikings, but we know what you mean. Yeah, the Rurik family were Vikings. Um, they knew what they were getting at, but they could hide it a little bit, so they hid it. And that's why there's so much Viking symbolism in Ukraine. Is it was a Viking family that were the rulers of Ukraine for nearly 400 years, from 936 to 1263. You have to remember the original Kievan Rus capital, Novograd. So this was the original capital. Moved down to Kiev, the Seven Hills of Kiev. After the Kievan Rus were overrun by the Golden Horde, and this Novograd became a capital of the part of the Kievan Rus that turned traitor and actually helped the Mongols raise Kiev, Korostin, and Ravine. Moscow was a principality of this region here. It wasn't until like 200 years after the Kievan Rus empire fell that Moscow became a city, because this Novograd became too uppity for the Mongols, so they installed their new leader over here in Moscow to get away from the uppity leadership in Novograd. And that's how Moscow started. It was an installed capital by the Mongolian hordes that basically controlled all of this area until about the 1500s, I think, if I remember correctly. Yes, Niels was on In Time stream today. I think he went to bed towards the end of it. But yeah, it's the other thing that surprises me is, let me see if I can find that shop. I lost the border. There's the border. Okay. No, that's not the right one. Right name, wrong area. There we go. So along here somewhere, things to do. No, don't jump me back there. Oh, freaking A. Let me just do this a different way. These are blankets in Ukraine. Let's get to. So, traditional blankets, stuff like this. Now, this is the part that I find really odd. Let's just go images. Notice a little bit of similarity, and there is differences, but there's some aspects that are very similar. And I am curious if that is the Viking influence. Because it's believed that, well, it's known that Vikings came into Ukraine in the Middle Ages, and it's widely believed now that the Vikings were in Nova Scotia, and I'm thinking maybe influenced the blanket making patterns of the Native Americans. Just a theory. Would be interesting though. Let's get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. Yeah, it'd be really inexpensive to live in Ukraine. And unfortunately, I have to look for inexpensive. Yeah, I know that because there's writings of the Vikings in ancient texts from Baghdad. Okay, let's see. What did I want to show you guys? Oh, Dill. There we go. This little that little artsy area I showed you guys. There is one apartment for sale in this area. It is a basement apartment. Again, gray themed. When I go back to Ukraine, I'll have to walk through this neighborhood and show you guys. It is amazing. Okay, I can't do that music. And I bet if you explored some of the old sites around Ukraine, you could find ancient coins. But I mean, this is such a beautiful little neighborhood. And it's like in the valley between three of the hills in Kiev. So it's like your own little secluded town in the middle of town. It's very, very gorgeous. I do not understand why this apartment has not sold, other than it's a basement apartment. There was an apartment in this building right here for sale a couple months ago for 740,000 USD, and it's sold. I'll tell you one thing though, there's no public transportation in this neighborhood. You have to walk out of the neighborhood to get to public transportation. Must have been trash day. But yeah, you're literally surrounded by hills in this little valley. Most of the people you'll see in this neighborhood are either like government officials, high-end business people, or you're going to see the service workers coming in here to do renovations, house cleaning, that kind of stuff. But I mean, freaking gorgeous area. The only thing bad is the parking. And Yeah, Trump's a lot like Putin that way. Half of what he says is bullshit. The other half is usually a lie or trying to steal some money from people. So yeah, even people hanging their laundry out in the little Richie neighborhood. No, that's just decoration for the restaurant that's right here. The grapevines growing around. But I mean, you could spend an entire day just walking around this little tiny neighborhood. If I was ever rich enough to live in this neighborhood, I'd want to live in that building. I mean, it's just an amazing, amazing little place. Um, and you could live there too for 50K. Not the biggest apartment, 22 square meters. Um, this is probably why it hasn't sold. According to the documents, it's not a residential premise. Historical center of Kiev. 10 minutes to the metro station. So an excellent option for a business. That's why there's a bed in it and a little kitchen set up. But yeah, it's an interesting place. I'll just leave it at that. The other place I really like, but I wouldn't move there. I think it's. Let me zoom out just to be sure. Yeah, I think it's this area here. This is like almost all brand new buildings, so this will all be unrenovated, unfurnished. But here, let me show you on Google Maps. If we go back to it's this area right here. And you can kind of tell why. Looks like the drones have turned from Zhytomyr heading towards Klemensky, and a new set of drones heading into Kharkiv. Yeah, kind of whimsical paintings, more, but pretty neat area. It's pretty neat, but you wouldn't be a real Kevin, because you're on the wrong bank of the river. um, but yeah, I thought that area was pretty neat. Um, let's see. Oh, shoot, I can't remember where it was. Yeah, it's St. Michael's. Oh, here we go. See if I can find you guys a good image of Podil. This is a pretty interesting area. Like that little village or that little valley resident place is right here. St. Andrew's Church is right here, and if you go behind it, Alley of the Artist, and they have these great overlooks onto the river and that's the church behind you, this one. But anyways, I went up this place and you go under basically under the funicular, the little thing that goes up and down the hill here. And Vladimir the Great monument, but it comes around. Oh, shoot. I can't figure out where I was from the overhead view. No, it's way past that. Oh, shoot. Okay, we passed the Vladimir the Great monument. I think we came over this way. Oh, shoot, I lost track of where this place was. I'll have to I'll have to go back. When I go back, I'll have to show you. Let's try ice cream. Oh man, I'm not going to be able to find it, and it is going to annoy me. Okay, this is the playground. The dice chairs, I remember that.
Да, влюбленные зебры есть. Дальше вот там, смотрите, сидит какая большая Алиса, да?
And yes, they have tours that go down this thing.
как полагается, да. Поэтому здесь такие симпатичные у нас фонтанчики и скульптурки.
Okay, in this building right back here, there's a little walk down the basement, and it's an ice cream shop that makes homemade ice cream, and it's the only ice cream I had in Ukraine, and it was so good. Let's see, is this it right here? No, this isn't it. Anyway, somewhere along this alley of the artist boardwalk, there's all these cute little like statues and stuff. Oh man, it's see if I have any of those photos still. Humana. No, that's the start of the trip. After that. Oh, and there's the end of the trip. Crapola. I don't think I have those photos right now. I'll have to hunt for them on my phone. There has to be more pictures of it, though. I mean, the reason they call it the Avenue of the Artist is right down the middle of the boardwalk. They have this fence and like little benches you can sit on as you go down. But the artists on the weekends take it over, display their artwork along the fence. And very, very cool. And you just walk down this little alleyway and find the art you want. But they have these neat little statues and stuff along the way too. And the statues is what I'm trying to show you. And I don't think I'm going to be able to find it in here because it's not quite here. It's a bit further down the way. Well, like, okay, like this one. And see if I can find another one here. Oh, there's one of the nice overlooks onto Podil in the river. Okay, here's the view up. And this isn't like a really cool old church. Oh, yes, I'm starting to remember. I almost lost my hat walking around that church because the wind was so strong up there. Here's some more of the weird statues they have. I swear that was a rusted out C3PO. Oh man, I miss it. I need to go back. And of course, you can guess who that is. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. um, yeah, cool little walk if you ever get the chance to go down it. So cool seeing it in person. The pictures just don't do it justice. And apparently I don't have the pictures I took anymore. I have to go find them. They're probably on my cloud somewhere. Ooh, that's cool. Sherlock Holmes says, my friend in Kharkiv has gifted me some of her poor artwork. I think I could get an exhibition and make it big money. It's Vavi. Nah, okay, I'm not sure what that word's supposed to mean. Yeah, that would be very cool. The easiest way to find this is to go to St. Andrew's Church. You know, very famous church. Well, here, I'll show you. Okay, these are the only two photos I downloaded from this, but you know, that is St. Andrew's Church and me on the street. And that is basically taken right here. And then one of the other statues I had to do. This is what I was trying to show you guys where this stuff is at. But this is a statue of a park bench with a pillow and a blanket. And the pillow's concrete. That was a really hard pillow. But yeah, that was, for some reason, those are the only two photos I have along that trip on the computer. And yeah, it's just a really nice walk. I remember going past this. Couldn't really see the statue when I was there because it was protected. And then, oh, can't go any farther. Of course, this is the glass bridge. Went on the other side of the glass bridge, past the arch. And I mean, it's just all like park along the river here. Museum of Water. Bridge Park. I don't remember going this far, but we could have. No, that wasn't it. I know we didn't go this far. No, we didn't go this far. Or maybe we did. That kind of looks familiar. Uh, oh, when I go back, I'll have to do that trip again and show you guys that little walkway path park. It's very cool. Definitely recommend doing the walk down through there, checking out all the monuments and sculptures, statues along the way. It's just amazing to me. Yeah. Um, was it right? No, it was back here. Museum of Water. Of course, when I was there, because of the power shortages and, well, freezing temperatures, none of the fountains had water in them. And that museum, I did not get to go in. But it's something I'll have to show you when we get back. Oh, yeah, yeah. That was because. um, and it's just a pretty cool place. Um, oh, naive. Okay. Oh, how they got water over the hills around Dnipro. Um, I guess the tub overflowed a little bit. Yeah, I didn't get to go into this place because it was closed, but so much I'll have to go back after the war, or when I move there or something like that. I mean, there's so much to do in Kiev. You will not be able to see it all in a 3-month trip like me the first time. So I'm going again for another 3-month trip and check out all the stuff I missed and recheck out some of the stuff I did while I was there. Um, there's just there's so much beauty, so much history. Um, you have to remember Kiev was founded really, oh God, 12, 13, 1400 years ago. It has 1400 years of history. America at most has 200. Um, and I just lost my train of thought. Um, you know, Hostel Airport. Hello, Starsky. Thinking of you. I can't wait to go back. Yeah, I'm going to say goodnight too. I'm cold. I'm hungry. And, well, a little bit homesick in a way, I guess. Everybody, thank you for coming to the stream. I appreciate it so much. Please hit the like if you haven't already. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. But most importantly, keep supporting Ukraine. As you can tell, it's a place near and dear to my heart. And I've only seen so little of it. Kyiv to Lubny to Poltava, down to Kremenchuk, and then back up to Kyiv. That's my trip that I took. I want to see so much more. I would love to go to Uman when the Jewish community is having their festival in Uman. That'd be so cool to see. Love to go down to Odessa and dip my toes into the Black Sea. Love to go to Kherson and have a watermelon or 4. So much I'd love to go do. I would really, really love to go and check out the Pink Lake on the border of Kherson and Crimea Oblasts. Krasny Lake, the Blue Lake. But yeah, it's just, I love to check that out. Again, come up to the Carpathians and check out all the old castles. Ukhoroda, there's a castle over here. So there's so much history to see, and I could spend a lifetime in Ukraine checking out all of it. Oh, there's even, see if I could find that town. Volets, here we go. There's even a Hobbit village over here in Ukraine. Anyways, have a good night. Yep. All over the world, Jewish people come to Uman and do the pilgrimage into Ukraine every year. No, I'll be leaving before Christmas. I'll be coming back the early part of December. Yeah, there's just so much history in Ukraine that it's going to take years to see it all. And I only hope I have years to see it. Have a good night. Stay safe, everybody. And, of course, keep supporting my love, Ukraine. Night all.